Welcome back everyone to the newest edition in our video series. Today we're going to be discussing the topic of biodiversity conservation. Per Angelstam, a professor in sustainable forest management associated with many European universities and a fellow to the Rudolf Agricola School for Sustainable Development, has worked on this topic throughout his whole career so far. I have invited him today to discuss how the creation and upkeep of nature reserves can be a crucial step in preserving biodiversity. The paper that we're going to be looking into focuses on the estimates for forest reserves in his native Sweden.
In the 90s, I did a lot of studies about reference landscapes, about what species require, and I was asked by the government to make an analysis of how much habitat do we actually need to maintain a species. And I did this study based on conservation biology and landscape ecology knowledge. And the impact was quite solid because it led to protecting 700,000 hectares of forest, which is a sixth of this country, Netherlands. Policy about biodiversity conservation dates back to the early 1990s in Sweden. And I would say that at that time, politicians were really knowledgeable, and there was a time where scientific knowledge was important and was considered. And the policy instruments that were created, they were also good because they focused on really being effective and creating functional habitat networks. But you need money also. You need to invest in simply money so people can sell their land for conservation areas. And this has become more difficult because the current politics is not so interested in this. But I think there are ups and downs, and I think it'll change back again. Well, I think the key piece of knowledge that you need in order to secure networks of habitats so species can survive for a long time is actually to know where they are, what quality they have, how large they are, if they are spatially configured in a way that allows species to move, and that they last for a long time. Well, I think, first of all, you need to know your forest types. You need to study reference landscapes, and therefore I have worked a lot in Russia. I have worked with historical data and all kinds of, triangulation approaches to learn about the history of the past. And the other is to do studies on how much habitat species need, and then to be able to put this knowledge together and to link it to, for example, land cover data so that you can make models, spatial models of what part of a landscape is going to be more effective and what parts will not be so effective, depending on the quality and the size and the longevity of the different patches of forest. Policies usually talk about naturalness or maintaining something which is authentic, like an old cultural landscape. And in both cases, you need to know the reference. So what kind of system did species evolve with? So you need to know the environmental history, you need to know how forests or other ecosystems actually worked in the past. And the second thing is that you need what proportion of what was in the past do you need to maintain today.
I hope you dig this video and that you will join me next time for another interesting discussion.